Ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this. This is a wicked blade.
Kind of scared of it.
And your blade will...
The Ida.
Awesome.
The Ida is a long cutting sword, most commonly used by the Yoruba people of West Africa. Their idolization of Ogun, the god of metal and war, led their blacksmiths to be among the most skilled in West Africa. With its leaf-shaped blade that could be single or double-edged, the Ida was a practical tool for both agriculture and hunting, as well as a deadly weapon on the battlefield. In combat, it was often laced with pepper or poison to paralyze enemies and ensure that the slash of the Ida left many dead in its wake.
This is a kill test. To see how lethal your weapons are, I will take your weapons and deliver multiple slashes and hacks on these ballistic dummies. Let's do this. Okay, Josh, this is a wicked blade. On the initial hack right here, the blade went all the way through into the ribs and broke those ribs. The other side, same thing. That would disembowel this dummy. Your weapon will kill.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Mareko, you're next. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Well, Mareko, it is sharp. As you can see what it did, it lacerated right in all the way to the chest cavity, breaking the ribs that are in there. On the horizontal slashes, same thing, it lacerated deep. Feels good, balances out, and your blade will kill. Good job.
Thank you.
Next up is the sharpness test. To test your double-edged sword, I will take your weapon and deliver 3 slashes per blade across this web of ropes. If your Ida is sharp, it should meet no resistance. Josh, you're up first. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. I'll tell you, Josh, this is definitely sharp. It met no resistance cutting through the ropes. It feels good in the hand. Your sword, sir, will cut. Good job.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, Mareko, you're my choice. You ready?
Bring it on.
Let's do this. Well, Mareko, your blade is fast. It's light. It did lacerate through some of the ropes, and some of them it didn't. Overall, though, your blade will cut.
Thanks, Doug.
Next up is a strength test. Dave?
Gentlemen, to test the strength and durability of your blades, I'm going to chop into these femur bones 3 times. Now, the point of this test is not to see how many bones I can break, but to see how well your blades hold up through that punishment. Josh, you're up. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Everything stayed straight. Everything stayed tight. But you can see we've got some extreme chipping on that blade. Did sizable damage to what we were swinging at, but you can just see those chips. All right, Mareko, you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
I did my best to make the geometry so it could withstand this kind of use, but seeing the damage that happened to Josh's sword makes my heart like sink down in my stomach.
Well, Makraka, you did pick up that slight bend, but your edges are beautiful. They've held up quite nicely. Nicely done.
Thanks.
Josh, Makraka, it was definitely a battle. There can only be one champion. The judges' pick Forged in Fire champion is... Makraka, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion. Good job.
Wow. Congratulations. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Josh, that's a beautiful piece, but with that coarse grain structure and the brittle edge, your sword just wasn't able to hold up in the strength test, and that's why we gotta let you go.
No, I understand.
Josh, please surrender your weapon.
I feel they made the right decision. I may not be the Forged in Fire champion, but I'm still a great bladesmith and a better dad. But I showed my kids that you step up and you do it again and you give it your best, and I think I did that, and I brought a beautiful sword. Looks nice, but looks don't cut.
Makraka, how does it feel rising to the top, earning a check for $10,000, and being the judges' pick Forged in Fire champion?
You know, it's definitely been a serious challenge, but to be able to represent for Doug, a man who I respect very much, and to make it to the end and win, that makes me really proud. I came so close to winning last time. It feels really good that I was actually able to pull out the win this time. Winning the $10,000, it's gonna be so helpful for myself and my family. Doug, your horse won the race. I hope that I made you proud, so thanks for bringing me back, man.
The Kabyle Flyssa. Both functional and ornate, the Flyssa is the traditional sword of the Kabyle Berbers of North Africa. Ranging in size from daggers to sabers over 3 feet in length, Flyssas are single-edged, straight back, and cutting edge that tapers. The long, needle-like tip and unusual weight and balance make it ideal for tearing through mail armor commonly worn throughout the 19th century. The Flyssa was deeply rooted in the Berbers' faith and is complete with complex geometric designs and animal head pommel.
This is a kill test. To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, well, deliver slashes and thrusts on this ballistics dummy. Colin, you're up first. You ready?
Have fun.
Let's do this. To help me today, I'm bringing back one of Makraka Collie's chief instructors. Please welcome U.S. Staff Sergeant Chris Mans. All right, Colin, your Kabyle Flyssa is very sharp. On the initial thrust, it penetrated deep and easily through this whole ballistics dummy. The handle is comfortable. It's easy to slash in and thrust out. Overall, it will kill. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Daniel, your turn. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. All right, Daniel, your weapon is wicked sharp. On the initial thrust, it penetrated deep. And on the way out, with your belly being forward, it lacerates out easily. Now, because you have such a very skinny handle right here, and there's no pommel with a counterweight, all the weight is in front. The balance just makes the blade rotate with a small handle like this. But in terms of damage, it will kill.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, bladesmiths, next up is a strength test. Ben?
Bladesmiths, to test the strength and durability of your Kabyle Flyssa, I'll be smashing them into these terracotta pots, edge first. Remember, this test is all about what the pots do to your blades and not what the blades do to the pots. Colin, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir. All right.
Awesome, man.
Well, Colin, the blade held up beautifully. The edge, it's like it never saw the terracotta. Did a great job. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Daniel, you're up. You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Daniel, your edge held up pretty well. I rub my fingers across, I can feel just a little bit of a wire edge, but nothing major. But my big concern, this handle. It's so small that I had a tough time indexing it, but it's beautifully carved, edge held up beautifully. Very well done.
Thank you, sir.
All right, gentlemen, you survived our kill test and our strength test. Now the sharpness test. Test the sharpness of that blade, and to see if it still has an edge, I'll be cutting through these fish. A clean, sharp blade should pass right through those fish. The dull blade is going to knock those fish out of the way or give us a jagged, torn cut. Colin, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Colin, right off, it's definitely a sharp blade. It cut very nicely. Your handle is a bit on the fat side, but it's definitely a cutter. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Daniel, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I feel that Colin and I are still neck and neck. I think that I've got a good edge on it, but all you can do is hope for the best at this point.
All right, Daniel, this blade is wicked sharp. And those cuts, you can see they just blew right through the fish. My problem is, this is so small, I had to fight to keep it in my hand. These Flyssa often have a very small handle, but what saves that is having that pummel, keeping your hand from coming off the back of that blade. It's an amazing cutter. It's just very difficult to hold on to.
Daniel, Colin, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion, and that champion is... Colin. Congratulations, you are our new Forged in Fire champion. Daniel, your sword didn't make the cut.
Daniel, you gave us a beautiful blade and a beautiful handle. Unfortunately, you made a weapon that we all agree was difficult to control. So that balance, that small handle, it made a weapon that couldn't be used at speed, at full force. That's why we're letting you go.
Daniel, please surrender your blade.
I am disappointed, of course, that I didn't win, but I'm absolutely proud of the work I did here. If anything, I think that this fuels my fire to work harder and do better.
Colin, congratulations. You are our new Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for 10 grand. Good job, buddy. As far as your animal head pommel, I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably an underdog. Well, Colin, please present your weapon to the judges.
Will Willis out here telling me I'm a champion? Can you believe it? The champ! I can't believe it! Forged in Fire champion out here.
The Makraka. The Makraka is a sickle-shaped weapon with its cutting edge on the inside curve of the blade. It was notably used by the Azande tribe, a dangerous clan that invaded and conquered Central Africa in the early 1800s. With the help of the Makraka, they took no prisoners while defending their land and resources. The sword was often used in executions to remove limbs and decapitate intruders or enemies. The Azande's fatal and terrorizing use of the Makraka is highlighted in the game, The Deadliest Warrior.
Bladesmiths, Makraka is a weapon used by the zombie warriors. It has a sickle-like blade and a tip representative of the warrior's manhood. To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon can do, I will take your Makraka and I'll deliver lethal blows on this ballistic dummy. Craig, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
All right. That's nasty. You can mess somebody up with that thing.
This is one of the lightest swords I've ever picked up. Your tip over here was so sharp that it went through and broke some bones. Your edge of the inside curve allowed me to lacerate deep into his bowels right here. But the most important thing, it will kill.
Thank you.
Paul, it's your turn.
I'm ready.
Well, Paul, where one was speed, this is power because it's a lot heavier. It dug in deep into the chest cavity. On the lacerations on the blow, it tends to gut in and pull out heavily, almost lacerating the total front part of this ballistics dummy. Overall, your Makraka will kill.
Thank you.
Up next, the strength test. Dave?
Gentlemen, an advantage of that sword was to actually reach around the shield, hitting the man behind it. So to test the strength and durability of your blades, I'm going to strike these shields 4 times with each of your weapons. This kind of wood can withstand extremely brutal force. So remember, this is not about what your sword does to the shield, but what the shield does to your swords. Craig, you're up first. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I don't see any nicks or damage. Blade's still sharp. Very nice, well done.
Thank you, sir. Good job.
All right, Paul, you're up.
Let's do this.
All right, Paul, and I don't see any blade damage, and the edge is in good shape. I like the leather wrap on the handle. It's nice. So all in all, nicely done.
Thank you.
Next up is the sharpness test. For that, I'll give you back to Doug.
The Makraka sword was used by the Azande warriors for beheading their prisoners. To see how sharp your weapons are, we're gonna do a mock beheading over here. Craig, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
All right.
Well, Craig, on a vertical chop, it was easy to control. My worry is about on a horizontal chop or slice that the weight would put pressure on my wrist. No issues whatsoever. Overall, your blade will cut.
Thank you.
Paul, you're up. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
Watching Craig's blade go through both those watermelons, now I'm hoping that mine can do the same. If my blade can't at least match his stroke for stroke, probably gonna go home without the $10,000.
Okay, Paul, the feel of your blade is a little bit on the heavy side when you're doing a horizontal slice. It got hung up on the watermelon. Almost cutting all the way through, though. But on the vertical slice, it just pulls you in and easily cuts all the way through. Your Makraka will cut.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, in just 5 days, you've done some exceptional work and your blades perform very well. But in this arena of competition, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. And that champion is... Craig, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion.
Thank you all.
Paul, your blade did not make the cut.
Paul, you gave us a powerful blade, but you fell short on sharpness. The bottom line, it underperformed the watermelons. And for that reason, we have to let you go.
I accomplished what I wanted to do. There are guys on here that have made thousands of blades and didn't make it as far as I did. Take care, man. First thing I do when I get home is I'm gonna take a nap. It was a hell of a week. I lost 5 pounds.
Craig, you are the Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
I'm quite surprised. I never thought I'd get this far.
Why don't you present your blade to the judges?
I certainly didn't walk away with this. Paul put up a fight, but I could come there with the best looking thing, but if it doesn't perform, then you're out.
The Singisi. Singisi are African throwing knives crafted for over 100 years by blacksmiths in the Mandera Mountains in Central Africa. They are typically about 2 feet long, featuring a double-edged blade with a shape resembling the letter F. Warriors often carry 2 or 3 Singisi in combat, sometimes attaching cords to metal rings for easy retrieval at a distance. As a throwing weapon, its lethal range was approximately 60 feet, but it was also wielded one-handed in conjunction with a shield during close combat. Today, its extraordinary shape and design make it a natural in ceremonial applications, and it carries great status for its owner and high value in trade.
Bladesmiths, this is the kill test. I will take your weapon and deliver killing blows on this ram carcass. Ashley, you're up first. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this. All right, Ashay, first up, when you pick up the weapon, it's comfortable. The wrap that you did gave me a very good grip on the handle. The point is sharp to penetrate the carcass on its thrust, and it lacerates on the way out. The back of the blade is sharp enough to cut all the way through this carcass. It's functional, it's sharp, and most importantly, it will kill.
Thank you.
All right, Levi, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this.
Nice job.
All right, Levi, I like the kind of wrap you put over here because it really feels good on the hand. It's almost like a padding with a good grip on it. The snake's beautiful. Your point is so sharp that on the first strike, it penetrates and almost lacerated the whole thing out. Your outside curve, on my 5th strike, I pretty much only cut all the way through, except it got caught on the bend over here. But your weapon is sharp. It's scary, and it will kill. Good job.
Bladesmiths, welcome to our strength test. What I'm gonna do is take each of your weapons and beat them repeatedly and viciously into different points of this shield. Ashay, you're up first. How you feeling?
Good, let's do it.
All right. Ashay, aside from the obvious, you'd have a very nice weapon here. The handle has got a good grip to it. I was able to get some really heavy-duty, good penetrating strikes in there. But obviously we have a problem, it broke. When you put your little spike in here, these corners here are sharp. So even though it looks like a very good heat treat, you got a stress fracture in there somewhere. All that strength and pressure came down that blade and snapped it off right on that joint.
Ashay, Your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure and cannot continue with testing, but that doesn't mean that you're out of this competition. Levi, your blade needs to survive at least 9 strikes on this shield. Are you ready?
Indeed, sir.
Shay, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Jay Nielsen, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this, gents. Bladesmiths, this Singisi is incredibly difficult to make, and both of you made very deadly weapons. However, you both had problems in our strength test. Ashay, your blade failed after 9 strikes. Levi, unfortunately, your blade suffered a catastrophic failure on the first strike against that shield. And for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
I definitely proved what I came to prove. I wanted to be able to push myself beyond my regular limits.
Good job, dude. Good job.
My family at home is definitely going to be proud of me, and I'm taking home skills and knowledge that I didn't have before I came here. And that's definitely a win for me.
Well, Ashay, congratulations. You are our new Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check. $10,000. Good job, buddy.
This whole experience has changed my life. It's really made me strive to become a better bladesmith. I'm not gonna stop, and no matter what, I'm gonna keep forging ahead. And I want to be able to make the best blades that have ever been made.
The Akrafena.
Kind of scared of it.
The Akrafena is a distinctive sword hailing from the Ashanti Kingdom of West Africa around the 10th century AD. Initially used as a weapon of warfare, Ashanti warriors brandished the sword in one or both hands to deliver heavy strikes in close-quarters combat. The sword's curved blade and dumbbell-shaped hilt were embedded with symbolic designs known as adinkra, evoking Ashanti principles like courage, valor, or heroism. Today, the Akrafena is a national symbol of the modern-day Ashanti city-state, carried by the king's royal emissaries at prestigious ceremonies.
Bladesmiths, the Akrafena was a weapon used by the king's emissaries to dispatch their enemies. To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon can do, I will deliver killing blows on this lamb carcass. Brock, you're up first. You ready?
Yeah, see what she does.
Well, Brock, your sword bent.
Cut around corners now.
But blades bend in combat.
It's reassuring to hear him say that, oh, well, blades bend in battle. It gives me some reassurance that, I'm not just out of the game.
It's got a nice feel to it. I don't see any visible chips on the edge. Overall, your weapon will kill. Paige, you're next.
I made my weapon to cut. The idea of hacking through heavy bones with it really has me nervous.
All right, Paige, let's talk about the balance of your blade. It actually feels good for chopping. Your blade cut in deep, and it cut through the ribs, and those kinds of cuts will kill. Okay, bladesmiths, next up is a strength test. Dave?
Gentlemen, to test the strength of your weapon, I'll take 2 chops into these pieces of bamboo. Now remember, this isn't about what your weapon does to the bamboo, but what the bamboo does to your weapon. Brock, you're up first.
No turning back.
Notice the shape there, so we'll see how we do after these cuts. All right, so if you take a look at that, we've actually straightened the blade out quite a bit. It's very hard to line that blade up when it's got that bend to it, but it did cut, and I'm not seeing any damage to the edge. Nicely done. Paige, you are up next, sir. You ready?
Yes, sir.
You seem to have an issue developing right there, with a flake of metal starting to come up. Things like that start to give me pause about whether that blade is going to hold up as we go forward in testing. Still sharp. All right, I'm okay pushing this onto the sharpness test.
Thank you, sir.
Bladesmiths, to see how sharp your Akrafena is, I will take your sword and deliver a slash across these ropes and cargo straps. Let's see how many they can cut through. Brock, you're up first.
Let's do it.
Ready. Okay, Brock, your blade was able to cut through 2 ropes, 2 of these ratchet straps, and almost to the 5th rope. I don't see that it's picked up any more of a bend, but overall, your blade will cut. Paige, you're next. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Paige, we were able to cut through at least 8 strands over here. I don't see that you picked up any bend in your blade here. And overall, your blade will cut.
Thank you.
Good job.
Bladesmiths, you've both done fantastic work, but there can only be one Forged in Fire champion, and that champion is... Paige, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion. Brock, your weapon did not make the cut. Please surrender your weapon.
I came here to win, but, you know, I'm happy with what I did. I learned a lot from the experience.
Thanks for providing.
I don't think you should ever stop challenging yourself. It's back to the forge, making new things every day, so I'm excited to get back to that.
Paige, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion and will be receiving a check for $10,000. How you feeling right now?
I'm very relieved. I'm very happy. I'm a metal geek, and I've never won anything like this. What Forged in Fire pretty much forced me to do is step way the heck outside of my comfort zone. I'd like to thank Brock for being a worthy opponent. He gave me a fair run for the money. He really made me work for this one.